Chief's way of all or none, being at the shop 24/7, it definitely makes him a really good racer. But that's not me. I can't be here 24/7.
As I'm walking out the door, there's always my car and Sean's car. And I always say, as I'm turning the lights off, "Good night, Crow. We'll do it again tomorrow."
They opened Big Chief's garage expecting to find race cars, but what they discovered left even longtime fans stunned. Behind those doors was a side of Big Chief's story that few people had ever seen, filled with surprises and revelations that completely changed the way many viewed his legacy. What was hiding inside all this time? And why would he walk away from millions to race on his own terms?
Damn! Come on, baby, come on! Yeah, baby. Stand by. Woo-hoo-hoo! That's right, yeah. Stand by.
Stand up, Chicago. Stand up, Chicago.
Join us as we open the door to Big Chief's garage and see what he built when nobody was watching. When the doors open. The morning they rolled open the door at Midwest Street Cars Automotive in Oklahoma City, the first thing that draws one's attention is not the contents inside, but the building itself. It is an unassuming steel structure sitting among industrial outfits, bullet holes still visible in the exterior walls. The shop sits at the rear of a parking lot, a mildly dilapidated building that gives no hint of the mechanical artistry happening inside. But when one pushes through that door, everything changes. Kevin Gates is on the radio. The Cromod sits on a lift, stripped of most of its carbon fiber body, and a buzz of activity fills the air. This is where Justin, Big Chief, Shearer, and Sean, Murder Nova, Ellington built their empire, a speed shop they opened years ago, where they still had blue-collar day jobs even as television fame grew. What visitors find when they step inside is a space that feels real. Not a polished television set, but a working garage where engines are rebuilt, ideas are tested, and the next race is always hours away. The Midwest Street Cars crew moves with purpose, converting cars from small tire setups to massive street rubber, often with just 12 hours until race day. On the other side of the shop sits the Murder Nova, an all-black Nova whose presence cannot be ignored. The floor shows the scars of real work, oil stains, weld marks, and rubber from tires that have been tested and retested. This is the garage that fans never saw on television, the unglamorous, grinding reality of what it takes to build cars that run at the absolute limit. And inside this unassuming building, surrounded by bullet holes and industrial grit, sits the car that started it all. But what makes a 16-year-old kid take his first paycheck and put it down on a beat-up 1972 Pontiac Le Mans and then refuse to let it go for over 2 decades? The larger picture. Justin Shearer was born on December 9, 1980, in Louisville, Kentucky. After losing his father at a young age, he was raised by his mother. And when his family moved to Oklahoma City when he was 9, everything changed. OKC's underground street racing scene was alive, and young Justin was hooked. He could not drive yet, but that did not stop him. He watched, listened, and learned. It didn't take long for the racers to notice the kid who never missed a night. Soon, he was part of the crew, holding tools, fetching parts, doing whatever it took to be close to the action. By 16, he got his first car, a 1972 Pontiac Le Mans. It was not much to most people, but to Justin, it was everything. He drove it every day for years. He took his wife on their first date in it. That car would become the Crow, and it would carry him from the streets of Oklahoma City to national television. 10 years later, in 2006, Justin was no longer a teenager going after his dream. He had become a top-tier Oklahoma street racer. When the 405 list of fastest street racers was released for the first time that year. His name was right in it. Still, he kept going up the list until he sat right at the very top as the #1 fastest street racer in 2018. Through it all, that 1972 Pontiac Le Mans was with him. His role as race master of the 405 list in Oklahoma City came with significant responsibilities, setting race rules, organizing events, and maintaining fairness. Unlike television producers who prioritized drama, Chief treated racing like a craft, not a spectacle. He spent hours tuning and testing, studying traction and timing, obsessing over every small detail. His careful preparation earned him respect, not just because he won races, but because he raced with intention. That reputation followed him from the streets to the screen. But television fame brought complications. Producers wanted conflict and sound bites, not technical breakdowns. And increasingly, they wanted scripted outcomes. For a man who had built his entire identity on authenticity, this created an impossible tension. But while the cameras chased drama, the garage stayed quiet. And inside that quiet space, projects took shape that no producer ever approved, and no episode ever featured. When the public finally got a real look, what they found wasn't what anyone expected. What had been hiding in plain sight all along, buried under dust and overlooked by every camera crew that ever walked through that door? The unexpected discovery. When the cameras finally stopped rolling and the public got a real look inside Big Chief's garage, what they found was a car that even longtime fans barely remembered. The 1970 Pontiac GTO, built for the 2017 mega race against Richard Rawlings and Gas Monkey Garage. Chief had his mind set on a 1970 GTO, similar to the Crow. He found it as Marty Palbican's old GTO roller, a chassis with an incredible history. The Palbican GTO was one of the earliest, if not the first, twin-turbo pro mods. It had set trends long before turbocharging was commonplace. It ran Haltech EFI, burned alcohol, and used turbos from a Detroit diesel semi-engine. It was the first true Pontiac-powered pro mod in the 7-second range, the first in the 6-second range, and came just short of being the first to break the 200-mile-per-hour barrier, all with cast-iron factory Pontiac cylinder heads. The GTO had run a best of 6.2 seconds at 230 miles per hour in its previous life. But here is the shock. The Midwest Street Cars crew took that GTO from a jungle gym of tubing to one of the baddest cars around in just 8 days. 8 days. They utilized virtually only the roof and quarters of the original 1970 GTO, building the back half stock wheelbase runner from scratch. The car featured the same Butler-built, twin-turbo, 482 cubic inch Pontiac mill used in the original Crow. It was gritty, unfinished, rough around the edges, and about 10 different colors. But it had earned its new name. The GTO was never built for television ratings. It was built because Chief had a deadline, an opponent, and a refusal to back down. If a rush job can turn heads, what does it say about the car that has absorbed a lifetime of attention? The one that isn't just another project, but the very foundation of his identity? The crown jewel. The Crow is not just a car. It is the heart of Big Chief's racing career. Over the years, it has evolved through multiple iterations, but Chief prefers its small-tire, heavy-frame setup for authentic street racing. The car has run everything from naturally aspirated small blocks to high-horsepower turbo and supercharged combinations. Under the hood sits a 482 cubic inch twin-turbocharged Pontiac engine, probably the smallest displacement of all the cars regularly appearing on Street Outlaws. But small displacement does not mean small power. The engine itself is largely composed of off-the-shelf parts, which makes it all the more impressive. Butler Performance did all the machine work, and Chief assembled the engine himself, starting with an IA two-engine block, a used Crower crankshaft, GRP aluminum rods, Ross pistons, and Edelbrock Performer RPM cylinder heads. The compression ratio is 12.3 to 1. The valve train consists of a comp cam, Crower lifters, Smith Brothers push rods, pack springs, T and D shaft mount rocker arms, and Ferrea valves. Quillen Motorsports helped with the alcohol conversion, spec'd the camshaft, and wired the car. Don Dial Race Cars built the 25.2 certified roll cage and helped set up the 4-link rear suspension. The front suspension is stock style, consisting of TRZ components, and Kinetic Engineering built the Penske coilover shocks on all 4 corners. A Pro Torque EV1 converter spins inside the bell housing of a Rossler-built TH400, which feeds power through a PST carbon fiber driveshaft to the strange 9-inch rear axle. Aerospace brakes are found front and rear. The turbochargers are Precision 8891 units. Jeff Lutz built the hot side plumbing, and Quillen Motorsports plumbed the inlet side. Chief typically sees between 46 and 52 pounds of boost during a solid pass. The engine runs on a Fuel-Tech EFI system, and Chief tunes the car himself. VP Racing's M5 methanol is his fuel of choice. He switched to alcohol because it makes low-end power, which works for the type of racing they do. The engine spins to an astronomical 8,600 revolutions per minute before each shift. The name originated from his desire to silence his critics on the street, and the white paint was simply a long-held personal preference, not a nod to the bird. But all the engineering in the world cannot protect a car from what happened only a few years later. For a car that had absorbed 2 decades of his life, how could one moment on one Saturday night bring it all crashing down? The Crows crash. On Saturday night, November 14, 2015, everything changed. Big Chief was racing Brian, Chucky, and Davis during filming for an upcoming episode of Street Outlaws when Davis's Fox body Mustang crossed over the center line of the road and hit the rear of Chief's 1972 Lehman's. Chief's car flipped over and landed in a ditch. The twin-turbo machine was extensively damaged on the driver's side, and much of the front end was ripped away in the crash. Both drivers were taken to a local hospital. Big Chief spent 2 days in the hospital. He had suffered pulmonary contusions, that is, bruised lungs. He had broken his collarbone, and he had crushed his L2 and L3 vertebrae in his back. From his hospital bed, he expressed gratitude for the outpouring of support, detailed his severe injuries, but warned fans against fraudulent fundraising campaigns that had sprung up in his name, assuring everyone he would return to the track. He credited the roll cage and safety equipment with saving his life. The Crow was totaled, but Chief refused to let it go. Instead, he decided to rebuild it, not because it was the fastest option, not because it made financial sense, but because the car meant something deeper. The rebuild took time, money, and countless hours in the garage, but when the Crow emerged, it was stronger than before. By 2022, Street Outlaws had become Big Chief's life and had almost taken his life a few times. Still, the show gave him meaning, being with him as he went through marriage, fatherhood, and even divorce. When it was time to prepare for the 15th season, Big Chief openly revealed that he was excited to reach that milestone with the show. But when the episodes would roll out, something really strange was happening. Another voice was talking about street racing culture, and another face was in charge of the list. Where was Big Chief, and why was he no longer on the show? The breaking point. It wasn't just Big Chief who was excited for the 15th season. The viewers were even more thrilled to see what would happen in the next season, especially since it was called America's List, where the top 5 people would qualify for the list. When they tuned in, Big Chief was nowhere to be seen, prompting them to wonder what had happened to him. At first, there was no exact report from street outlaws explaining what happened, so a lot of rumors started going around. Some fans said that Big Chief must have gotten into a fight with Precious Cooper during the first drivers' meeting. They claimed that Precious was probably not happy with the rules, and that had caused an issue with Big Chief. They even said that Big Chief's girlfriend, Jackie, was a big part of the fight. But to many, that didn't sound like Big Chief at all. He was the one who settled quarrels, so it didn't make sense that he would just leave because of one fight. In March 2022, Big Chief decided to clear his name and talk about what exactly had happened. According to him, Big Chief said he had gone to the filming and was ready to go. But at the end of the day, a lot of things changed the way he felt about the show. As soon as he got to the filming location in Texas, Big Chief had an issue with Jonathan, also known as JJ Dayboss, over the rules. He also said that his girlfriend had an issue with Precious Cooper. But instead of trying to solve these issues, he decided he had had enough. That day happened to be the breaking point of the issues Big Chief had been having with the show for many years. He claimed that there had been times when he had not been happy with the rules or what they were doing, but to keep things as straight as possible, he would compromise. But on that day, not only did he not agree with the rules, he didn't agree with the racers too. To him, things ought to be kept true to real street racing and be for the best of the show and everyone involved. When viewers watched his video, it became clearer why he had left. When the track becomes a soundstage and the rules become a script, where does a racer go to find true freedom when the asphalt is no longer his own? What it all means. After stepping away from Street Outlaws, Big Chief found a new partnership with Jackie Brosh, a fellow car enthusiast. Jackie had been racing since she was 8 years old, heavily influenced by her father to follow a path in motorsports. Together, they co-host the Midwest Street Cars YouTube channel, which boasts over 380,000 subscribers. The channel provides an inside look into their racing exploits and the behind-the-scenes happenings of their growing business. Jackie's main drive is Caddy Jack, a sleek black 2014 Cadillac CTSV. The couple has been dating for several years and manages both Midwest Automotive and their shared YouTube presence. Previously, Chief was married to Alicia Shearer for 11 years, with whom he welcomed 2 children, before filing for divorce in 2017. Chief's focus has shifted to small tire racing, which is growing in popularity. In January 2025, he competed in the Small Tire Shootout in Noble, Oklahoma, a significant event featuring iconic racers in a tight-knit community of car enthusiasts. The Crow is back on small tires and currently running the streets of Oklahoma. He continues to experiment with different setups, not just sticking to one type of car or engine. Some of his builds are long-term projects where he tests new ideas without the pressure of race day or production deadlines. There is also speculation about international events, with Stockholm frequently mentioned as a potential destination for his racing style. His net worth is estimated between $5 and $15 million as of 2025, and he continues to expand Midwest street cars and develop new projects. But even with all that freedom, all that control, and all that transparency, there is still one thing he refuses to show anyone. Why does Big Chief keep one corner of his garage completely off limits? The lasting mystery. The Crow Mod was supposed to be the future. When Big Chief unveiled his Pontiac Firebird Pro Mod at the PRI trade show in Indianapolis, A crowd estimated at more than 200 gearheads packed the Weld Racing booth to see it. The Firebird was 1,000 pounds lighter than the Crow. It was built by Terry Murphy, a pro-mod chassis builder who knew how to make a car that could compete at the highest level. Chief salvaged the engine and transmission from his wrecked Le Mans and dropped both into the new car. When he stood in front of that Indianapolis crowd, the car still was not fully built. That did not stop him from challenging everybody in attendance to a race if they did not like his car. He was back, and he was not backing down. For years after that reveal, the Crow mod sat in the background of his YouTube videos. Fans would ask about it constantly. What was happening with the Firebird? When would it race again? Big Chief gave glimpses, but never a full answer. Then, in 2024, he reached out to Texas grudge racer Tyler Lohman. Chief had a question. Did Lohman know anyone looking for a real lightweight pro mod? Lohman and his team owner, Chino Ho, had been racing an older, heavier Camaro. Lohman called Ho, sent some photos, and the deal worked out. The Crow mod had found a new home. But the new owners did not keep it the way Chief built it. Gone is the twin-turbo, small-block Pontiac that Chief proudly kept between the frame rails. The new team also pulled off the matte white wrap Chief had applied, revealing the striking blue paint underneath. They even rebadged the Firebird as a GTO. The Houston-based team now campaigns the Crow mod on 275 drag radials in grudge, shootout, and no-time racing events. Chief has not addressed the sale directly, and that's an unusual kind of silence for a man who now shares almost everything through his YouTube channel. Big Chief has always done things his own way, and while the Crow mod's story may be over, Big Chief's story is not. Do you think Big Chief would ever return to Street Outlaws? Or is that chapter of his life truly over? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it,